And if it wasn't for him, running into that old high school and saving all those records and trophies and plaques, we would have hardly any record of the history of Woodruff High School. And I think people need to remember him and what he sacrificed and what he gave over the years. He might have been the top five winningest coach in the country at the time that he retired. But man, he's just a guy that provided so much to the school. We didn't have locks on our lockers back then, and the people that he brought to Woodruff: Doug McNary, Mark Dempsey, Mike Stokes, Gordon Godfrey. I mean, just a legacy that he led for many, many years. And it's an honor to drive by that stadium and see his name still up there, tall and proud.
Yeah, man. Tons of good memories. Definitely a lot of good names mentioned there, for sure. Kind of talk us through a little bit of your time at Carolina and then leaving Carolina. We had a trivia question. Sammy, this is for you guys out here. So the trivia question was, the rumor was Ace was cocky. Ace was actually the mascot on the field, or was Ace the original hype guy on the field at Carolina to open up, bring out celebrities, all those kind of things? Well, all right, so settle their argument for us. What was your job at Carolina when you were there?
I was the hype man, the original one. The cheerleading coach at the time came up with that idea, and she had nobody to do that. And she saw us acting crazy at the volleyball matches, and she asked me to do it before some random game in like 1997 or 8. And I went out there and did it. And now you turn on the television, and you got legends like George Rogers and Connor Shaw coming straight out of the ICU unit last week and doing that. And actually, the last game I went to, which was last season, I looked down there, and they're getting ready to do the Gamecock cheer, and it's Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's become quite a tradition down there.
Yeah, that's cool. So you answered the trivia question for us, Sammy, guys, Lee. That's the answer to your question that we had before we started tonight. But give everybody a little insight to when you left Columbia. And I believe I got this right. Did you go straight to Indiana?
I had a little brief stay over for about 6 months at Western Kentucky University, which here's another trivia question for you. One of our classmates in 1995, Beth Blevins, went to play on the golf team at Western Kentucky while you were running around Tennessee, becoming the next Vince Gill, and I was at South Carolina trying to be the next Darius Rucker.
Yeah, we had.
But I spent just a short time there, and that's where I met the guy that would hire me at Indiana State University, and I spent 8 years at Indiana State, and I actually in 2008. Had an incredible opportunity. I was hired as the football sports information director at Florida State University. So every day I was right there in Bobby Bowden's office. What a legend. People always talk about what are people really like. As nice and as funny as he was on TV, he was 15 more times funny and nice in person. Just the most incredible person I've ever met. And I spent about a year there, and Indiana State had trouble with my replacements. They tried a couple of folks, it didn't work out, so they gave me an offer I couldn't refuse, and I spent another 12 years as the head of the sports information office at Indiana State. And when the COVID pandemic hit, a lot of us in college athletics were looking for a new path, and I decided to try a couple of different things, and about 2 years ago, St. Mary of the Woods College just went co-ed, kind of like Columbia College did, and they added not only men, but they added men's sports, and it's been a great opportunity. I actually have two of my kids going to college at St. Mary of the Woods right now, which is a good reason to go work in college athletics because your kids get to go to school for free. So.
That's a bonus, right?
I do want to add that when I was at Indiana State, we did never lose to Belmont in basketball.
Oh man, that's my guys though. They broke some hearts in the tournament though.
They sure did. We were in the same conference as them for a time.
NAIA.
The head coach there, Rick Bird, what a legend.
Yep.
And I can still remember you, one of the last days we spent in high school. You sang a Vince Gill song in one of our concerts on the gym floor.
Yeah, man.
And then you flash forward about 25 years. I went to a Belmont game, and there was the real Vince Gill right there in person cheering on Belmont.
Well, listen, my whole 4 years at Belmont, he would slip in the side door. We were in it, we were in NAIA for most of my 4 years, and I think our last year we joined the OVC. I think my last year when I was at Belmont, and when you go Division I, you have to build an arena big enough to handle conference tournament games. So we went to the last, I was there for the very last game in the old gym. It was in the old gym. I don't know if you ever saw the old gym at Belmont, but it was basically about like the gym at Woodruff. It was not much bigger than that. But, playing on the NAIA level, you didn't really have to have a facility that big. But now Vince Gill has donated to the Curb Events Center, which is brand new there on the campus at Belmont. He has his own box. Have you seen it yet? So it basically overlooks one end of the court. It's probably about 25 feet worth of glass. And
one of my last times of going to Belmont, they finally opened the Curb Event Center. They didn't have any place to put parking because it's so landlocked there.
Yep.
I mean, you walk outside the front gate of Belmont and you're staring right down Music Row where George Strait, Elvis Presley, Alan Jackson, and everybody in between got their start. I mean, what a location to go to school.
Well, the other part of it is we could go 2 blocks down the road and play Vandy. We would play Vandy every year in basketball, and I think they started a baseball series as well. But literally 2 blocks down the road from campus, you could play Division I SEC Vandy in a basketball game. It was pretty incredible, and the all the new buildings and everything Belmont has there on campus now is wild. I joke all the time that my tuition paid for whatever, at least 5 seats in that arena, right?
You got that? That was Carol Phillips money.
Yes, sir. Oh my goodness, man. Tell us a little bit about if anybody's out there listening, watching, maybe students that are interested in the sports management, sports side of the business side of sports. What's some advice that you would give them, or what kind of path would you give them to say, now that you've gone down that path, what kind of advice would you give anybody who's looking to get into that side of sports?
The most important thing I can tell anybody is get involved, help you in the press box, keep stats, help you run the Facebook page, get experience. They check to see if you have a degree. They do not check your grades or what you learn, but they will check if you were a student assistant, a graduate assistant, where you've worked before, and what you've done. This is a job where there is no time to train people because you are so busy. There's so many sports now. There's so much money involved. They want people that they can hire and put behind the computer, or put up in the statistician spot, or on the log you into their Twitter account and let you go and trust you and not have to train you.
Right.
The most important thing I can tell any student anywhere is get experience. And if you, get it at any and all costs. Don't worry about what they pay you as a student worker. Don't worry about what the stipend is if you are a graduate assistant. Just take that opportunity, go somewhere where you can be successful, and most importantly, learn, meet new people. If I had not met Kerry Tharp, who graduated at Western Kentucky University, and the person that he worked for as a student had not been there, they never would have looked at my resume. If I hadn't talked to Kent Johnson when Indiana State played Western Kentucky in 2000, I would not have gotten an interview for the job that I had for 20 plus years. And get to know the other athletic directors and administrators in your town, because you never know when you're going to need to move across town to a St. Mary of the Woods College or a Spartanburg Methodist or a Columbia College, because these are high pressure jobs at Division I, and at some point in time you need to have a chance to go somewhere and take a step back where it's just kids playing sports.
Yeah.
And the more you know, and the more they trust you, and the more people you know, that is the most valuable thing you can have in order to have a career in college athletics.
Yeah, man. I think about the scope of the job that you have and everything that's involved, and it kind of blows my mind. And I know that you've seen it progress over the past 25 years, and the fact that NIL is a factor now, social media is a factor now. Social media wasn't a factor probably till 2005, 2008 range. But every athlete is advertising themselves on social media. They're trying to advertise, this is what I do, this is what I bring to the table. And from sports information side of things, you're trying to advertise to that student to make your school look attractive and all those things. And yeah, man, I envy you in some ways I don't, because it's got to be just a ton of work and a ton of moving parts to the information department at whatever college level you're on.
It's a lot of fun, but there's also a lot of days I wish I had call Brad Harrison and sell flatbreads and serve beer at Tap 3.
Oh, man, I understand. Well, Ace, man, we've come to kind of the end of our time here. I just want to say I sincerely appreciate you being able to jump in and talk with us. It's good to see you, man. Good to talk with you. I hadn't spoken with you in a long time. Glad to hear you're doing well, and so glad to see all of your successes over the past years, man. Don't be a stranger. If you're in town anytime, you're welcome in the press box during football. If you're here, man, just give us a shout. We'd love to see you.
I sure will, and I just want to give a shout out to head coach Brett Sloan and the 6-1 Wolverines heading into homecoming this week. I'll be watching from up here in Indiana, and it doesn't matter how the season comes out. You beat Chesney, so you're a winner in my book.
I love it, man. So good to see you, bud. And we're going to let you go, and we'll wrap up here with Coach Sloan coming up on stage here in just a couple minutes. Ace, thanks again. Great to see you, man, and we will talk with you soon.
All right, thank you. Good luck, Coach Sloan, this Friday.
Yes, sir. Take care, bud.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We are going to bring up Coach Sloan in just a second. I think he's over there. I'm not sure if he got his wings yet tonight. Hadn't got his wings yet. So we're going to go ahead and bring up Coach Sloan. While he's coming up, once again, I want to thank everybody at Tap 3 for hosting us each Tuesday for the Woodruff Wolverine Coaches Show. If you guys are sitting out here in the audience, we have 3 items to give away. Here's how it's going to work. We've had a few people come up, write your name on the pad, and drop your name in the bucket. We'll draw names a little bit later on. But we've got tickets. We've got tickets to the game on Friday. We've got a blanket from the Booster Club and a throwback Willie Varner hat from Tap 3 that we're going to be giving away. So you got to be present to win, though. That's our only catch, right? So you can't win it online tonight, Coach. No, can't win it online tonight. So
that's correct.
But if anybody out there sitting out here tonight, if you want to put your name in the bucket, feel free to do so. And before we finish up tonight, we'll draw some names to win. And I see Jake Lambert hiding in there.
We need to get Jake on. That's what we need.
Yeah. Jake, you're going to be around. If Jake's going to be around a minute, we'll have him on. We'll come up and talk.
That's right.
Talk with us for a minute. Yeah.
My man.
Coach, we're coming off a bye week, and a little bit of recovery time, a little bit of planning time, extra time to kind of collect our thoughts over the 7-game stretch. Everybody looking good, feeling good, going into homecoming. Got a big homecoming game coming up this Friday. If anybody didn't know, we got a big homecoming game coming up this Friday.
We say that every week. Not homecoming, but
not a
game,
homecoming, but it's a big game. Yeah.
So.
Homecoming week, a lot of festivities going on. Obviously, we'll have all of our normal festivities on Friday night for homecoming court, all those things. But we got a big game, big team coming in, big region matchup. Probably, if I was through the, scouring through the internet, probably one of the top 2-3 game matchups in the entire state of South Carolina this week is going to be at W.O. Warner Stadium coming this Friday.
It's the WSPA game of the week. I know that for sure. Todd Summers was by yesterday at practice. So it's a big game. It's one that's getting a lot of attention, statewide pretty much. So it should be fun, and I know it'll be a packed house Friday night, and it should be a pretty electric environment, and it should be a good time. Should be a good Friday night for football. So.
Yeah, and an interesting stat from our athletic director, Coach Mike Morris, as of, in 24 hours of selling online tickets, there's been over 200 tickets sold in 24 hours of selling online tickets. It's just Tuesday, Coach. So if that gives anybody an indication of how many people are going to be there this Friday, you might want to put your name in the hat to get these tickets so you can get a seat.
Do that or get online and buy them, So
that's right. So the excitement is there for this particular game. Coach, I know you don't want to address it this way, but most folks would say this is probably a matchup for the region championship as far as the standings go in our region. It's just got huge implications for the region championship as well as playoff placement for the playoff season coming up. So I know you guys want to win every single game every week.
Sure, I mean,
and this week, you don't want to hype it up too much, but it is a big match.
I mean, look, we don't ignore the facts of the situation, and we're aware of the possible implications. But if you go out and win this week and then you play terribly in the next 2 weeks, it doesn't mean as much. So just take them one at a time. And it's something we talked about all week. It's just the next game on the schedule. And that as a team and as players and as coaches, that's the way you have to. That's the way you have to approach it. It's still all the emotions and all the fanfare and everything that's involved with it. Once we kick off the game, it's whoever blocks and tackles and throws and catches the best is going to win the football game.
Right.
So everything else is just noise. It really is, and that's what it's going to end up coming down to. And that's kind of been our focus all week is. Hey, it's just the next game, and I think the thing you have to fight in this situation, and in these kind of games is getting players and sometimes coaches to understand, we don't have to do anything special. We don't have to do anything superhero like,
Right.
we just need to do what we do, and we need to do it with great attention to detail and great focus and great execution, and we need to do the ordinary things in an extraordinary way, and that's what we really need to do. And that's kind of been what we try to talk about all week is we don't have to change who we are. We don't have to do anything special. We don't need anybody to be a hero. We just need, 22 guys who go out there and do their job, and they do it at a really high level,
Right.
and and that's kind of been our focus for the last week and a half now. Is that's the little things are going to be what wins or loses this game, and we've got to make sure that we buckle down on those things.
Yeah, in the existence of football, that's been true every single game that's been played.
Sure, yeah.
Minimize penalties, minimize
it always
mistakes.
comes down to those things. When we sit down and watch the film, it's never. I mean, yeah, you'd always take. There's always one or two play calls you'd like to have back. There's always one or two things you would have schemed differently. But when you break it down and you slow everything down and you evaluate everything, it always comes down to blocking and tackling, throwing and catching. Who turns the ball over, who doesn't turn the ball over. Who plays great on special teams. That's why our plan to win never really changes. We talk about it every single week, and I remind them. The last thing I tell them before the game every single week, regardless of who the opponent is don't forget to plan to win.
Right.
Number one, be more physical. Number two, don't turn the ball over.
Right.
Number three, be great on special teams. And
Gotcha.
we always go back to that, and we try not to waver from that very much. And I think our guys would say that our messaging there is very consistent.
Right.
At least we try to be. Because if you don't do that, then you start getting a bunch of big ups and downs all the time, and you play up the competition, and then you play down the competition, and so
Yeah.
we try to be very, very consistent in what our message is, and how we prepare doesn't really change.
Right.
There might be small tweaks, but if you looked at the nuts and bolts and the structure of how we practice, it's no different this week than it is any other
Right.
week. And I think with that you breed some consistency. You're able to develop consistent effort, and because the expectation, and kids know what to expect.
Right.
They know what to expect. They know what's required of them, and if they do that and those things are communicated to them clearly, and consistently, then they tend to conform to those things. So.
Yeah. Love it. Well, Coach, let's talk about our opponent a little bit. I've seen a little bit of film on MVP. Obviously, we played them in another region game. We played them last year. They have a little bit of different personnel this year as opposed to last year.
Yeah.
When MVP comes in, let's talk about offense real quick. When MVP comes in on Friday, what can we expect from their offense, and maybe who's some key players?
I mean, you're gonna see number one, KD Hainsworth, super electric receiver. He's big time speed guy. He's probably the fastest player we'll see on our schedule all year long. He can really go. The quarterback, number 19, I can't recall his name. I want to say Mac Anderson, but he's hard to get on the ground, and we've got to do a really, really good job of defending the quarterback run game, and then we got to do a really good job when things break down and he starts ad-libbing, because he can become really, really dangerous in that game. Similar to, and we've seen some of those guys this year. We saw that at earlier this year with Fountain Inn.
Yeah.
We saw it with Chesney, guys who can break the pocket, and then they can become a big-time threat either with their legs or with their arm. And he does a really, really good job of that. So we got to be really disciplined in our gap and our edge integrity, our fits. One thing I've emphasized to them is we can't chase ghosts. Because you're going to get a lot of motions and jet motions and different orbit motions and all this stuff. And if you go chasing where you think the ball is, then all of a sudden the quarterback keeps it on counter, and you've got a big time problem. So we've got to be really disciplined with our eyes and with our gap integrity. I think. They got a younger tight end kind of guy. Kind of reminds me of a young Cam a little bit. He's
number
long.
18 maybe.
I think he's 16 or 18. I don't always do great with numbers, but he kind of reminds you of a young Cam, where they flex him out wide and they bring him down in the box some. He's a good player. They got other weapons. Number 8 at receiver is a good player. They're very dynamic on offense. They've got probably the best team speed overall we've seen this year. You really got to do a good job tackling. You got to do a great job with your angles and your pursuit angles and all those things, because if you miss the tackle or you overrun the tackle and you allow them to cut back and they get north and south, and it can be a problem for you. So we really got to, leverage is really important. We got to keep leverage and maintain it, and use the sideline as another defender and just squeeze the air out of the ball, essentially, when we're on defense, and keep that thing going side to side, so. But they're dynamic. Big play, big play after big play after big play. So got to do a great job tackling. Got to do a great job with our eyes, and just do our job really, really well.
Yeah, and I think I can echo what you were saying. When I saw them on offense, I felt like they mirrored us in a lot of ways, in the fact that they have a lot of dynamic players in different different positions across the whole offense.
They're balanced. You can't ignore anyone on the field for them, for sure. I mean, they're just they've got they mirror us in a lot of ways, on offense. Whereas they can spread the ball around and hurt you with a lot of different people.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It's definitely got to eliminate.
They do a good job blocking in the slot too. Like number 6, he does a really good job. It's 3. I think it's 3. He does an excellent job in the slot blocking. Those guys do a good job. So yeah,
and I agree with what you said. From a defensive standpoint, we've got to either eliminate or limit the big play. The long 60, 70, 80-yard plays we can't. Yeah. We got to make sure we eliminate those plays from a defensive standpoint. As far as MVP on the defensive side of the ball, Coach, what I know they've had some changes from personnel from last year. Kind of what do they look like on defense as far as what?
They've got some personnel changes. Their personnel is still really good, though. They're talented. They're young in some spots, but you can see those guys growing up as they get snaps. You can see them getting better and better. They're really aggressive. They're not afraid to play man, and just commit numbers to the box and make you, challenge your manhood a little bit as far as when what you're going to do about it, and that's a good way to play defense, it's sometimes it can be high risk, high reward, I guess is the way to do it, but it can be a very effective defense too when it's done well, and they have the athletes to do it. They can play man on you, and they can make you pay for it. So I would say you do see some. They're pretty consistently in an even front unless you get in 3rd and long and stuff. So I would anticipate seeing a 4-down line look. Most of the time you get you in 3rd and long, and they'll switch it up on you. But that doesn't change what they do on the back end a lot. They'll play some quarters type stuff, and then they'll play some man free, and they'll play some zero on you, and then really force the issue on you. So we got to really do a really good job of being balanced, and when they give you opportunities to throw, we've got to do it, and we've got to be really good at beating man coverage and some of those things. So
So let's talk about the Wolverines for a little bit, Coach. I know you mentioned the practice process, preparation process. As far as keys to the game for Wolverines on Friday night to come away with a win, what do you see as the key things that we need to make sure that we do, other than scoring the most points at the end of the game? What are the things that you think we need to be able to do on Friday?
I think it goes back to we got to be balanced. When we're balanced, we're at our best on offense. Yeah. I think when we're spreading the ball around to a bunch of different people, and when I say balance, sometimes that's not 100 yards rushing and 100 yards passing. Sometimes it's, are we throwing it out to the flats? Are we stretching the field horizontally? Yeah. Either in the run game or in the screen game or in the quick game, and then are we taking our shots downfield? Are we making people defend the entire field? I think we got to make them defend the entire field and not let them play a game in a box. So I think we got to do that. We got to definitely protect the football. And we got to tackle really well, because these guys, if you don't tackle well, they can score a touchdown on you fast.
Yeah.
So we got to do a really good job of tackling on defense. We got to do a really good job of leveraging the ball, like I said earlier, and everybody running to the football, and that's another huge key is everyone has to run to the ball, because you can't assume the tackle is being made, because if it doesn't get made, and they get in their stride, it can be a big play,
for sure.
So we got to do a good job of that. So.
Well, Coach, for it being homecoming, I have an expectation there was already going to be a pretty big crowd for homecoming anyway.
Sure.
To support the homecoming court and all the festivities that we have. But as we say every week, man, we need people in the seats to support these young men who put in all this hard work for us to be entertained on a Friday and have fun and all that stuff. And love to have everybody and their grandma coming out of the woodworks on Friday night to fill up the stadium.
It should be a great environment. It really should. Should be what high school football is all about. You know, it really should be. So we're looking forward to it, and we look forward to the opportunity to go out and represent Woodruff, and you know we're going to do it in the best way we know how, and with our to the utmost of our abilities. You know, and effort. So
fantastic. Well, there'll be. I saw a note today. I think Pig on Fire Barbecue is going to be there this week, so that's another good
reason.
We're just
to come
piling
out.
up reasons for people to come out to the game on Friday. We'll have a couple of food trucks there in the stadium available. One of those will be Pig on Fire. Tons of other stuff going on as well inside and outside the stadium. You can buy tickets online. I believe that link is available on the district. I believe I saw it on the district Facebook page. It's available there. If you want to buy tickets, online tickets in advance, that is possible. And we still got some giveaways. If there anybody needs to put their name in, there's probably some other people on the other side that we need to make sure that they know they can put their name in for this. Is Lee taking care of that? Lee, you taking care of telling people to come put their name in the bucket over here?
They passed it around already.
Passed it around. Okay, good.
Everybody's had an opportunity. I think is what Tony's saying. So
well, we need to go ahead and probably go ahead and start pulling some names out of here before Lee gets out of here. Are they trying to talk somebody else?
Who's going to pull names?
I don't know. Who do we need to bring up here? Addison? We need to bring up Addison. Is he trustworthy? Hold on, we got more names coming in real quick.
We got more names coming in. Well, I mean, Lee is an official.
Lee is a referee.
You would think he could do this fairly, I would think.
Yeah.
I guess we can get Addison to do it, don't you?
I believe Addison can do it.
Addison and Connor. Is Jake putting his name in here, or is Jake coming to talk to you?
Yeah, put you something in there, man. And then we'll let Addison draw some names. We got to draw 3 names, so we got to.
Maybe do we need to get Sobe to do it just so
maybe
there's no bias?
Yes, let's do that. Sobe.
There's no bias here.
Hey, Sobe, we need you to do a favor for us real quick. All right. So let's do. What you want to do first, Coach? The blanket.
Sure call. I think the tickets need to be saved for last.
Tickets are going to be last. All right, we need you to pull us a name out of the red bucket right there.
Let's go blanket first. This is for the Woodruff Wolverines blanket here. Brad, I'll give that to you.
Okay. Haley Pearson. Look at that. Haley. There's Haley right there. Haley, come grab your Woodruff Wolverines blanket.
Next, we have the.
Thank you, Haley.
The vintage Coach Varner.
The vintage Willie Varner throwback hat.
Tap 3 hat.
Let's see. The Connor Davis.
Connor Davis. I think he needs to wear it on the sidelines when he.
I mean, he's got the.
When he comes between drives.
Yeah. All right, and we're going to do one more. So
we got one more. We got
one
to
more
the game, right?
tickets to, and I believe these are reserved tickets, Coach. Is that correct?
I think so. I haven't.
Let's double check. I think these are reserved seat tickets to the game on Friday. So, you have an opportunity to. Yeah. So we got 4 reserved seat tickets to the game Friday. Guaranteed a seat. How about that? Guaranteed a seat. All right, Sobe with our last one here.
Drum roll.
There's a drum kit back there. We should have done. Drayton Jones. Look at that, Drayton.
Look at that, Drayton.
Good job, bud. All right. Congratulations to everybody that won. Thank y'all for coming out and supporting. Thank you to Tap 3 for donating the hat. Booster Club actually donated the blanket. If you're interested in the blankets, the Booster Club will have those for sale Friday night at the Booster Club booth. And Tap 3 has, I think they still have a few more of the hats here on location at Tap 3 if you're interested in grabbing one of the throwback Willie Varner hats. Matter of fact, Ben and I were talking about that the other day. I don't think I've ever seen another one. Tony, have you ever seen another one like it? I believe Coach Varner had that hat made for himself in about 1989, and they never put those out for sale. So, you know, he took full possession of that hat.
Well, when you're legend, you can do that. You know,
Listen,
that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I don't know anything about that. I have no clue how that feels. So, but well, folks, we're going to wrap up here for tonight. Coach, as always, best of luck on Friday. Thanks for coming out, spending time talking a little football with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Enjoyed it.
Thank you, everybody, tonight for coming out, hanging out with us here at Tap 3. And as always, thank you to Tap 3, Ben Harris, and all the staff here for treating us so nice. And we're going to be back here next Tuesday, 7 o'clock, for the Woodruff Wolverine Coaches Show. You guys take care, and we will see you next week. So come on out, support the Wolverines. Go Wolverines. We'll see you guys on Friday. Take care.